This weekend post, gradients aren't just for adjusting exposure. You can do more with them. Hi everyone, I'm Scott Davenport and welcome to In Post. Before I get into today's topic, I want to get your photo questions. Questions are awesome. I love hearing from people and understanding more about what it is that you want to learn more about with photography or what you're struggling with. And I see questions as a two-way street. Certainly, you ask a question and I'm going to turn an answer around to you in a couple of days or so. You're not going to have to wait for me to do a Q&A video, which I know I am insanely overdue on, but I want to do those justice. I don't want to slap them together. But you get an answer to your question. But also, your questions are going to make me think about my photography as well. Why do I do things a certain way? And maybe I've never thought about it before. But in the end, we both get something out of it. We both improve our photography. And that's kind of the whole point of why I sit down at this desk and talk to an empty room week after week. With that, let's get into today's topic about gradients or graduated filters, depending on the tool that you're using. I did a video at the end of 2016 on this about shaping your photo, and I want to drive that home because I've been using this technique quite a bit recently where gradients are more than just exposure. I think the classic example is we drop a gradient or a graduated filter and to darken a sky or to brighten a dark foreground. But there's just more that we can do with it. I've got this photo I took at Torrey Pines, and you may have seen the In the Field episode on this one. Let me turn on my little cursor highlight there. There we go. And I'll open up the graduated filters here in Lightroom, and I've got a few of them, and I want to pick this one right here. So it's adjusting for the foreground. And so certainly I'm doing something with exposure. I'm raising it up a little bit. I'm actually adding some clarity as well because I want these rocks to become more detailed. And I'm warming it. So I'm doing a lot of different things with this one gradient. So let's play around with a before and after here. If I were to take this gradient, I'm going to press the delete key and remove it. So what does our image look like right now? So the foreground's kind of dark. We kind of guessed that. I'd add exposure. I re-add that by undoing my delete. And it's brightening up a whole ton. Now, individually, what's going on here? So exposure, we can guess that's what's really brightening things up. What if we take the temperature back to nominal? I'm just going to double click on temperature. It's very blue, right? So I'm using the temperature fundamentally to overcome a color cast. There's a blue sky here. There's a lot of blue bouncing around in the scene. I'm using the temperature to remove that from the surf. I want that surf to be more white, the churn and the foam of the ocean. And as far as clarity, let's turn that off. Double click that. So it's softer, it's duller, particularly for the rocks, it's kind of dull. And if I return that clarity back in, we get a nice punch in the foreground there. So, tip of the week, if you couldn't guess, the graduated filters, gradients, whatever they're called in the tool you're using, they're more than just exposure. Play around with other things. I think the thing about this one was using the temperature slider to overcome a color cast. If you've got a tool where you're able to apply curves adjustments or something like that in a gradient fashion, like this is something we can do in on-one effects or on-one photo raw in the develop module. You can mask out various things such as a curves adjustment in, I think it's the tone enhancer. That's really powerful. Lightroom gives us some controls. Aurora HDR has those things. Luminar, Photos. Photos have masking. I think there's a plugin or an extension for masking. Doesn't matter what you're using, but look beyond just the exposure sliders for that graduated filter or gradient tool. That's going to wrap it up for today's In Post video. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, let me know somehow. Share this with friends. I love that the community's grown here over the last year, and I want to keep that momentum going for 2017. It's fun. It's energizing. Certainly helps encourage me to come back to the desk and do another round of videos. Well, until next time, my name is Scott Davenport, and happy shooting. This weird head bob I'm doing at the end there. Drunk marionette.